Hi friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, and in this video we will see the API gateway, how we can use API gateway in our project. So what are the steps to implement API gateway in our projects? In the last video we have covered what is API gateway and what are the benefits if we use API gateway in our project, why we should use API gateway in a project. All these things we have covered in the last videos. Okay, so this is the action video, means here we will actually implement the API gateway in our project. Okay, so let's start. In the last video we have covered what is the API gateway. Okay, so there is a microservice where a web means a client directly talk to the microservice. Then there is a lots of problems. So API gateway comes in picture where the problems, that problem are like if you directly call, then there is lots of problems that can be solved by this API gateway. Means what are the problems in a cloud? Microservices are in a cloud and their IP address and host, means IP address and port are randomly changed, and if we configure in our configure file port number is actually changed in cloud, randomly changing, and if we try to call that microservice, it will show us down. And one more thing is that if we have thousands of APIs, so as thousands of microservices, and that port name, remember all the microservice with the port number and IP address is tough, as well as it is also changing. So the way is not work. Okay, so the API comes in picture where by the APIs we can call this microservice by the name. Here we just have a API gateway port number, and by which we are able to call all microservice just with that port of API gateway and then name of a microservice by which we are able to call any of these microservices. Okay, so what are the steps if we implement it in our projects? So what are the steps? So let's see. We can implement this API gateway in two ways. Either we can use a Spring Cloud Gateway or we can use Joule. By this, we can implement the API gateway in our projects, either Spring Cloud Gateway or Joule. So my project is customer order microservice, where two microservices are there: customer microservice and order microservice. Here we will use API gateway, and we will call this by just API gateway port number, and both microservices should be called. Okay, so you can see before API gateway, if I want to call order microservice, I must have the port number of it. Okay, and customer microservice, then we must have, means both. If we have two microservice ports should be we have, and if thousands of microservices, then thousands of microservice port numbers by which we can call. If we don't have, we can try to call, then it will show down, and also it is changing also in a cloud. Okay, so with the API gateway, the your port number will be just a API gateway, and with the name of that microservice, we are able to call. So that are these are the benefits if we use API gateways. Okay, so let's see what are the steps if we use in a projects. Okay, without any delay, let's see. If if you want to know, there is a video in a description box. There is a link. You can watch all about this API gateway benefits, and if we use, what will be happen, what are the benefits we can take with the use of API gateways. There is all in details we have discussed. Okay, here we just see the how we can implement it. If we are using Spring Cloud Gateway, then we must have to use the dependency of Spring Cloud Gateway, and if we wanted to Joule, then dependency that will be added is Joule. Rest properties and all these things is same. Okay, so these are the two ways Spring, either we can use Spring Cloud or Joule. Okay, so let's start. As you know that this API gateway is also a Spring Boot project we will create. Okay, this is also a microservice, so we will create a Spring Boot project as we do for other microservices. So same as we do for Eureka service. So so let's start. I'm going to create it by using Spring Initializer. Open Spring Initializer and create a new projects. Okay, so project is Marvin, language Java, Spring Boot. This default version we are taking. Okay, and group name is com. Artifacts is API gateway. Name is API Gateway Microservice project for API Gateway using Spring Boot. And packaging is jar. Java version is 11, and here we will add the dependencies. First is Spring Cloud Gateway. Okay, and as you know that we are also using Eureka in my project I am using, so where we can see what are the microservices running Eureka dashboard. If you don't know, you can check out playlist of microservice where we have discussed about the Eureka server as well. Okay, so I'm taking this dependency as well. If you want a web, you can, otherwise no need. So this is done. These are the our pom.xml file. Okay, so generate it. Okay, so in a customer order microservice, I have API gateway where here customer microservice, Eureka, and order service. Okay, so open in your ID and open this one by one everything. Our API gateway. Then yes, load the dependencies. Then customer microservice of my project. Eureka server. And last is order microservice. Open all these things and load the dependencies. After load this dependency, just check the pom.xml where everything is perfect or not. There should be the dependencies: starter gateway, Eureka client. Okay, Eureka, because it is act as a Eureka client. If you are using Eureka, then this is required. Okay, this is gateway, and here. Okay, so first step. Now the next step is here we will enable. It is our Eureka discovery client. Okay, then open up application.property, and here you can write properties. There is a option, so we can create a YAML files, and in this YAML file we can write the properties whatever we wanted. Okay, so the first one is we will change the port number of its. Okay, so let me run and check whether it is running perfectly or not, and in which port it is running. So it is running on default port, that is 8080. Okay, so first of all we will change the port number. So go to the application.yml file and write server.colon port. Okay, so 9005 port I'm changing. Then it is a Eureka instance, so we need to write the property for that also. So Eureka instance of host name is localhost. Now in a Eureka there should be the name. Its name should be like it is a API gateway. Okay, as in a real life there is a people's name as it is here. API name we can set like this: Spring application name is API gateway. Means we have set the name of this application is as a API gateway. Then it is stored in a cloud, so we'll write a routes for that. Means this API gateway through which we can call other microservices. Okay, so for that we need to write a routes where we will write one that how we can call, when this microservice called, when should be this microservice should be called. So all related to that properties here we will write one by one. So there is thousands of APIs and thousands of microservices. So there is how many microservices are there? You need to write for every microservice routes here, so that by this API gateway we are able to call that microservice. So, okay, what is the properties? Cloud gateway, routes, and then ID of it. What is the ID? First microservice is my microservice customer microservice. You can see in customer microservice I have write the application name, I have already set the properties application name as a customer microservice. Means by this I able to call this microservice. If I have the way, I can call by the name also rather than port in. So here ID is customer service. URI is load balanced. We are using load balance, and here we need to write the customer our service name. Service name is customer service. URI is okay. So we have write the properties for ID, URI, and URI is load balance, and last thing is predicates and path. Okay, what is meaning of that? If there is path is localhost 9005, then slash customer, and then whatever is come at that time, we will call this customer microservice. Okay, this URL will be fetched. Okay, and this is for customer service. Same to same we have to write for order microservice. ID is order service. URI will be load balanced. Path is order. So when there is a path, is something like this, order, and whatever after that, then order microservice should be called. When customer, and then whatever, then customer microservice should be called. Okay, so this is done the steps, 3 steps. First, we need to create a Spring Boot project, then add the dependencies, then here you need to annotate if there is a Eureka. So discovery client, this is discovery client, and then change the properties like this. Okay, server port, then instance, it is Eureka instance localhost, then our application name will change, and then we will write the routes. Okay, this is done. And okay, so we have set the properties, and now run one by one. So what is the flow to run? So first we need to run our Eureka server, then we will run a API gateway, and then we can run anything else. Okay, so first thing, if we are using in our project Eureka, then we must have to run first Eureka, otherwise it will give some errors. So let me run first Eureka server, then API gateway, and then customer microservice. Okay, here is some errors. Route. Okay, so in properties there is some mistakes. If a single mistake can may bugs occur. Okay, so here it will come capital letter path. Okay, so please ensure that everything is perfect, then it will work perfectly. Okay, so please check this properties. Okay, so let me run. After save it, let me run. Yes, it is running perfectly. And now customer microservice, and last one is order microservice. Okay, so we have run everything. So let me check this is running perfectly. Yeah. Okay, so let me go to my browser, and here I need to write localhost 8761. This is my Eureka server dashboard port number. Okay, Eureka port number. So all microservices registered here perfectly. API gateway running on 9005. Customer microservice is running on 9002. Order microservice is running on 9003. We are using API gateway. So by this 9005, we should be able to call this microservice, customer microservice as well, and order service microservice as well. Okay, we don't require what is the port number of customer microservice, what is the port number of order microservice. By this port, we must have to able to call this both the microservice. Okay, so localhost. Okay, so localhost colon order. So first I'm trying to call my order microservice. So in order microservice, in a controller, we can see the path. So there is a order, then customer ID ports. Okay, and another one is a customer microservice. Let's call this as well. So customer microservice path is customer, and then customer ID. Okay, so here local host colon 9005 slash customer slash customer ID. Okay, I'm able to call this customer microservice. So by the API gateway, I'm a port of API gateway. I'm able to call this customer microservice as well as order microservice as well. Okay, so both microservice we are able to call by the API gateways. Okay, so this is the way. Here we have completely implemented our API gateway. In this way, we can implement it and use our project. What are the benefits I already covered, and here are the detail about what is API gateway also covered. So I think everything is covered here. If it is helpful and you are able to getting my points, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you, sir.